A body with the front side, including her face, burned beyond recognition, yet the back side strangely intact. She supposedly consumed 50 to 70 sleeping pills and died before the pills were completely digested. All identifying marks and labels were removed from her body. Who was she? Was this a suicide or murder? Welcome to Missing Piece, I'm Dr. P. Today we will talk about the mystery case of the Isdal woman, which has remained as one of the most profound Cold War mysteries in Norwegian history. On the afternoon of November 29, 1970, a family of a man and his two young daughters was on a Sunday hike in the foothills of the Oricon, in an area known as Isdalen, which means Ice Valley or Death Valley according to the locals. Noting a very strong sense of burnt flesh, one of the daughters discovered a female body wedged between large rocks. Surprised and scared, the family returned to the town and notified the police. Bergen police responded quickly and started the investigation. Officers noticed that the body was severely burnt and the arms were in a boxer position in the air, which is common in burnt bodies. While her face and the rest of the body were burnt beyond recognition, her backside was strangely intact. At the scene, items such as jewelry, a broken umbrella, bottles, a watch, stockings, and rubber boots were found and recovered. Quite interestingly, the watch and jewelry were not found on the body but rather placed on the top of a rock nearby. More strangely, all of the identifying marks or labels such as logos on these items have been removed or sketched off. Even the bottle found at the scene has this label marked off. Why were all these labels removed? We will go deeper into the investigation. During the autopsy at the Gates Institute, a large amount of Phenomone brand sleeping pills were found in her stomach. She swallowed about 50 to 70 pills, which is a lot. So this raises a question. Did she attempt to commit suicide? Well, it's a bit early to call suicide because more clues are coming. Let's dig more into the autopsy. The blood test shows that he has not fully digested all the pills before she died. Smoke particles were found in her lungs, which indicates that she was still alive when she was on fire. There was also a high level of carbon monoxide in her blood, which also support the hypothesis that she was alive when the fire started. A strange bruise on the right side of her neck was also discovered, which could possibly have come from a fall or blow. At the end, the autopsy concluded that the woman has died from a combination of incapacitations by sleeping pills and a poisoning by carbon monoxide, and the death is probably a suicide. In fact, the area where she was found was known as the scene for many suicides in the Middle Age and as well as recent hiking accidents in the 1960s, where some unfortunate hikers fell to their death, earning the title Death Valley from locals. However, considering the findings from autopsies, it's suspicious that the case was suicide. Why would someone in the case of committing suicide first consume 50 to 70 pills, then decided to set themselves on fire? This just doesn't make sense to me. A few major clues came in 3 days after the discovery of her body. 2 suitcases belonging to this woman were found at the Belgian railway station. How did investigators related this suitcase to her? Well, inside this suitcase, there was a pair of glasses with a fingerprint on the lens, which is a match to the Isdal woman. Relating the suitcases and all their contents to her was very important, since the suitcase contained several mysterious items that may lead to her identity. Inside the suitcases, there were clothes, wig, a comb, hairbrush, makeup, money from Germany and Norway, as well as coins from Belgium, Switzerland, the UK, and 100 Dutch marks, which is equivalent to $1,000 today. A tube of eczema cream was also found in the suitcase, but the prescription label, which could indicate the patient and the prescribing doctor, has been removed. The label of the makeup has also been removed. It seems very likely that she might have removed the label from the items that were found at the scene herself. Beyond these items, there was one item that seems particularly promising, if not strange to the police: a notepad with a code written in blue ink. A code that could not be cracked down by the police at first, We will talk about the notepad with the code a little bit later. A plastic bag from a shoe store in Stavanger, Norway was found in a suitcase, which led to additional information about this unknown woman. Tracing back to the store, the investigator found boots that matched the one found at the scene. The store owner's son recalled that he sold the boots to a woman 3 weeks ago. He also provided a detailed profile of her appearance. Well dressed, medium height, with a round face and dark brown eyes, long dark hair. His descriptions led police to the St. Wigtham Hotel in Stavanger, where the Isdal woman stayed under the name Fenella Lodge. However, when the police checked hotels back in Bergen, no hotel has admitted a woman named Fenella Lodge. So about the code written in a notepad, turns out that Fenella Lodge is not the woman's real name. In fact, she had at least 8 different names that she used in hotels around Norway. The woman also possessed multiple passports with different names. Police was able to decode the notepad entries by using handwriting analysis on the hotel's check-in forms for names she used and cross-referencing it with the code found in the suitcase. The notepad with codes was determined that it indicates dates and locations where the woman had stayed, such as that 030BN5 relates to her stay in Bergen from October 30th to November 5th. After examining all the registrations, the police identified she consistently claimed to be a Belgian nationality, while details such as birthdays, occupations changed from one to another, though all of which were confirmed to be fake. They also gained insights into the woman's habits by speaking to hotel staffs. She often told hotel staff that she was a traveling saleswoman or an antiquity dealer. Also, she was known to change rooms after checking in, and she utilized some German and Flemish and some broken English. One witness said she heard the woman speaking German to a man. Additionally, they all described the female as well-dressed, which match up with the statements from the shoe store. Additional clues came from the Isdal woman's teeth and tissue samples. At autopsy, her teeth and jaws were removed due to their unique gold-filling dental work. When new forensic technologies were applied to the investigation, a dentistry professor named Giselle Bang examined the Isdal woman's teeth, covered in fillings and gold crowns, and determined that the unusual dentistry may have occurred in southern or central Europe, or even in Asia. However, before the location could be locked down, Professor Bang unfortunately passed away in 2011. The teeth were rumored to have been thrown away because they smelled. Yet the mysterious tale on the teeth didn't end here. Somehow, the Isdal woman's missing teeth were later found in a Hockland hospital warehouse. In 2017, the Isdal woman's teeth were subjected to an isotope test, which helped identify where the woman grew up by reconstructing past environmental or climatic conditions. Using this test, scientists were able to pinpoint that the woman had been born in about 1930 in an area near Nuremberg, Germany, but later she moved to a France-Germany border where she likely grew up. Also, DNA testing revealed that the Isdal woman was European descent, possibly from North America. With the Isdal woman's feature and background starting to materialize out from the darkness, new police sketches were drawn of her in 2016. In May 2017, a black notice was sent out through the Interpol with the Isdal woman's DNA attached, in hopes to find new leads, and with that, we reached the end of our clues. Many questions remain unanswered even until today, especially due to her many fake identities and unexplained travel plans. Given all the doubts from the findings, authorities concluded that she had committed suicide, yet many others believe that she was murdered. It is also impossible to rule out whether this is an accident or a homicide. One theory about her death is suicide, as originally determined by the local police. Returning to the autopsy, 50 to 70 sleeping pills were found in her stomach. Officials see it as a sign of suicide, as it would be hard to force someone to consume that many pills in multiple doses. However, due to the odd details surrounding this case, many officers involved doubt that suicide is the true answer. It doesn't make sense that one would swallow a lot of pills and then set oneself on fire. The fact that the method of death doesn't really coincide with suicide and that she had all these other external factors that may have suggested that she was involved with unusual things, such as the notepads with codes. It is hard to convince people that suicide is the answer to this case. Another theory is murder. Multiple investigations pinpoint to the possibility that she was a spy. She had various identities, she operated with codes, she wore wigs, she traveled from town to town and switches hotels after a few days. Also, all identifying labels have been scratched off from her belongings. This is what the police called conspiratory behavior. Also, given the Cold War context of the time, Norway was revealed to be home to Russian spies and Mossad agents from Israel, and this may add to the speculation that the Isdal woman was a spy. Thus, her possible life of an espionage would undeniably lend itself to a veritable list of enemies. So it is not unreasonable that someone would want her dead. Returning to the crime scene, if her true plan was to commit suicide, why set herself on fire? Adding to that, nobody seems to have an explanation of how the fire started. Also, returning to an autopsy, there was a strange bruise on the right side of her neck that nobody seems to have an explanation for where this bruise was from. Despite the official conclusion as a suicide, many officials involved seemed shaky on that prospect. Police lawyer Carl Hofer claimed that no one in the Bergen police department really believed that, claiming that the location and the nature of death seems too odd to be a suicide. Also, the crime reporter, not Harvick, wasn't convinced by the suicide theory. Quote, "Personally, I'm totally convinced that this is a murder." So, was she really a spy? In the end, the Isdal woman was given a Catholic funeral on February 5, 1971. As the police guessed, the Isdal woman may have been a Catholic member based on what information they had. But as for now, the mystery around the Isdal woman remains unsolved. Personally, I think this is a murder case. The fact that the Isdal woman was only burned on one side suggested that she was unconscious when the fire started. Otherwise, the Isdal woman would have shown some struggle due to the extreme pain from the fire. In this case, the fire should have spread to her backside, especially if she was using combustion aids such as oil or alcohol to start the fire. Well, let me put it this way. It is impossible to start a fire on a human body without combustion aids. However, as ashes were found in her lung, she was still alive yet unconscious when the fire started. So how did she set up a fire when she was unconscious? Was there a second person at the scene when the fire started? This is the end of our story about the Isdal woman today. If you enjoy mystery stories, please subscribe to our channel for weekly mysteries. Also, please don't forget to check out other mystery stories from our channel. See you next time!